Okay. Oh, goodness. So I hope you guys are all doing well. The fall weather, winter's coming up, but right now the weather's so beautiful and it's easy to go outside. I know for me to go outside and be in nature is a religious experience for me. It helps, increases the dopamine in my brain, and it would for you too. You can still take, a fresh air. We always can, even in the winter time. But it's pleasant to walk outside, and I hope all of you will take some time, if you can, to be outside a little bit today, while you can. But this week I'm talking about how we need to embrace one another. We have to hold each other in our space as much as we can, because we need each other. We are community, we are family, we are connection. And in this space, sometimes we find people kind of rub us the wrong way, or they have habits that are quite annoying. That's very probable. But I want you to notice, when you calm your breath, when you notice what's bothering you, if you can look inside and notice if maybe it's something that's in you too. Because when we look at somebody else's faults, when we point to somebody else's faults, there's three fingers pointing back at us. There's an ancient proverb that I really don't think it's nice to repeat. It's so funny. It's an ancient proverb that says seeing other people's faults is so easier than seeing our own. And many times when we do that, we're not as wonderful as whatever as those people are. They use the term their loins are smaller, but it's men and Proverbs. Look it up. It's really funny, but it's true. So we're going to spend our time today focusing on embracing each other and our foibles, with boundaries, of course. So sit up nice and tall, draw your shoulder blades back, lift your heart. So if you take your thumbs into your upper ribs, press your thumbs in and up as if you're lifting something that's stuck in your pelvis. Lift it up, up, up. Inhale, and then release your hands, but keep that length that you created. And then close your eyes and come to your breath. This can be very difficult, just to stop. And then notice your breath, notice how you're breathing, notice all the mishmash in your mind. And slowly start to deepen your breath until you find a nice deep rhythm. Big full breath in your chest. See your lungs expand the size of 2 footballs. Yeah, and then exhale. Release all the way back to your pelvic floor. Feel a heaviness in your sit bones and your thighs as they ground to the earth. But you keep your belly slightly engaged and your pelvic floor lifted as the energy rises with the inhale. Close off the back of your throat so you can hear your breath in your ears, the beautiful aspirant sound. And that's the place we go to when we catch ourselves. And slowly open your eyes. Extend your arms beside you and low. Flex your palms, take your fingerprints back and draw your arm bones back. Lifting your heart, lift your chest, arm bones back. Keep the hugging of the shoulder blades back, but widen from the center of your chest. Here you are. It's like a big hug. We're opening our hearts. Then start to roll your arms back and forth, keeping the arm bones back. So you're going to roll your arms right into your shoulders, and this is going to get rid of the sticky in the back of the blades there. Really roll them right into your shoulders, keeping your elbows back if you can. Then you're going to take your palms away from each other, outer arm bones back, lifting the pelvic floor. Exhale and press, 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 like you're opening up a space of, in your mind, clearing it out so you can have a little glimpse of peace, right? Palms forward and roll them back and forth. Very important to get into our shoulders. Inhale, big full breath. Make sure you're doing it with your breath. Take your palms away from each other, outer arm bones back to lift your heart. And imagine you're clearing yourself away, a space, just to be here right now. Yeah. Take your right hand to the floor and reach all the way over to the right. And then inhale to center, extend both arms up and maybe a little bit to the left. And then as you reach over to the right, you're going to reach up and over an imaginary beach ball. Take your right hand down and really reach over. And then inhale, use your core to come up, but moving only with the breath. Exhale, belly back. Inhale. And now we're going to change sides. Left hand all the way over to the left. Oh, yeah. Core and tip. And then all the way over that beach ball. It's always a day at the beach, right? Not really, but we're going to try. And all the way to the right. Then all the way over to the left, up and over. Last time. Oh. And both arms up. Big and tall, shoulder blades back. Good. Take your left hand to your right knee, your right fingerprints behind you. Inhale to sit up tall and roll your left ribs over to the right. That's where I want the movement from. Look over your right shoulder so you get a deep twist. Then look to your left. Inhale, tip your chin up. And then exhale, really tip your chin down and breathe, reaching your right shoulder back. You should feel a huge stretch back there. Ready to start. See what it feels like to be cleared there. Inhale back to center. Exhale, other way. Twist your right ribs. Look over your left shoulder. Now look to your right. Lift your chin up. And then lower your chin. Really lower it. Take an extra breath here to keep the left shoulder down and back. Oh, yeah. And all the way back to center. So I want to start with our core right away. So you're going to flex your feet and keep your heels in front of you. Your knees are bent. Imagine your heels are stuck and you're pulling them back. And as you pull your heels back, you're going to lift your chest towards your thigh bones. And then as you exhale, you're going to dip back, but I want you to breathe through your mouth. You're going to go. So the belly draws back. And inhale through your nose, exhale. And continue just like that. Maybe you'll come a little deeper or go a little faster. You decide. Very conscious breathing. Pull your elbows back. Reach your heels. Your heels are stuck and they're pulling you up. And the belly draws back on that exhale. You're going to have to do a lot of these. Let's do 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, yeah. Now draw your knees to your chest and round your back, just drawing that belly back, lifting the pelvic floor, and stretching your back at the same time. Big breath. Now you're going to come back. This time your feet are on the floor if it's available. You can take your hands behind you, or you can cross your arms, kind of touching your opposite waists. Those are the muscles we're going to wake up. Exhale to the right. Inhale to center. Exhale to the left. Inhale to center. You're going to continue just like that at the rate of your breath, depending on what works for you. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Exhale. Now, if you want to use that same exhale through your mouth, feel free to do so because it draws the belly back. Just notice what it feels like in your body when you're breathing mindfully. And as soon as you get distracted, you're not going to be breathing. Okay, 6 more. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. All the way back to center. Now cross your shins, roll forward to table pose, hands and knees. Make your way into cat and cow as you know how to do, but as you do so, I want you to notice the fingertips pressing down. I want you to feel your knees reaching into the earth, the groundedness of this pose. And you're moving with your breath. Exhale. So to me, it's all about your breath. Belly's always back, the pelvic floor is lifted. Now curl your toes under and take your hips back and just make half moon, half circles with your hips. You might feel a little snap, crackle, pop in your hips. That's a good thing. And if you don't hear it, that's a good thing too. And now you're breathing only through your nose and moving with the breath. Slower is ideal, right? Yes. Then make your way back to center. Extend your right leg back behind you and lift it up if it's available. Shoulder blades are hugged together. Belly is super lifted. Then extend your left arm in front of you with a beautiful balance. And then you're going to exhale. Once again, just kind of draw your knee towards your elbow, drawing the belly back on the exhale. And then inhale back. Exhale, slow. You should be making a lot of sound with your breath. And you're also working that glute. You shouldn't have to do too many of these either. Make sure the shoulder blades are hugging together. We don't want to torque them. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Round your back, draw the belly back, lift the pelvic floor, hold it. And back to table. Now extend your right leg back behind you once again, pivoting the right foot onto the mat. And roll your left ribs forward and lift them up. It's super important. Maybe you'll extend your right arm up or over your ear and get lots of length here. Make sure the left ribs are lifted and rolled forward. Then lift your right leg and just notice how that feels. You can lower and tap. Moving with the breath. This is a different part of your hip that we're moving. But keep the belly engaged and move with your breath. Exhale. Exhale to lower. Like you're really thinking about it. Then extend your right leg long, bend your right knee, and either you'll bind with your right foot or you won't. If you don't, that's great. Keep the thigh bone back and your heart forward. Otherwise, you can bind with your foot and keep the thigh bone back and your heart forward and press your foot back. Press your foot back, widen all the toes. Big breath, oh yeah. Then make your way back to the balance. Take your right hand to the floor and your right leg directly out to the right. This is just something I think is really important. Now walk your hands back and circle your arms up. We're working on our sides of our bodies today. So as you exhale, you can take your right hand down your right leg. I'm just going to move, so you can see, all the way to the right. Inhale to center. And now you might want to take a block under your left hand or come to the floor or just hover. But what we're going to do is take both arms up all the way over, lifting up and over an imaginary space to the right. And then inhale back to center. Exhale all the way over to the left, and either you find your way here. But notice how when you press down from the center of the pelvis down, you lift up your whole body. See if you can keep your arms parallel and all the way up. Last time to the left, however you choose to do it. And then back to center. Now, you're going to reach your heart forward. Your arms can be in front of you, beside you, behind you. You decide. But you're going to feel the lift of the pelvic floor and the belly. And with your arms wherever they're at, you want your shoulder blades back. You can even bend your elbows. I love this. And keep your palms flexed. Belly engaged, big breath. And then take your hands to the floor. Your back left toes, you're going to curl under. Check out your left foot. And then roll your inner thigh bones back to take your hips back. And then maybe you'll soften your chest. Take your arms wide in front of you, lifting your palms, lifting your armpits, and then soften your chest toward the floor. So your armpits are higher than your head, and you'll find a nice stretch in your shoulders. Breathe into that. Oh, yeah. Good. And come all the way back to center. Step your right foot just outside your right hand. And I like to tip the thigh bone out to get a nice opening in the hip. So imagine your foot stuck and you're pulling it back with your right hip. So the right foot is pulled back, the belly's lifted, and you might soften your chest. You might just soften your elbows. You might bring your forearms to the floor. Any of those steps are the pose. The trick is knowing. So now we're going to come a little bit deeper. You're going to curl your back left toes under, lift your back left knee, and maybe you'll come onto the pinky side edge of your back left foot. So now you're on the pinky side edge of both feet, and you're going to open your ribs and extend nice and long. Maybe your arm over your head, but lift, just find a little pulse. As you lift the left ribs up into the right, you root down the pinky side edges of both feet, or you stay on your tiptoes of your back foot. You decide what's good. But just really get into it. Exhale your right hand back to the floor and your left knee to the floor. Good. Now extend your right arm all the way out to the right, opening it up, leaning back. Basic twist. Exhale your right hand to the floor. Curl your back left toes under, lift your back left knee, and then you're going to lift and lower your hips. Good, lift and lower. Now you're going to step your left foot forward and wide, press your feet down, and circle your arms all the way up. Good. Take your hands behind your back and release your fingers. Inhale, lift your heart. Good. Exhale, keeping the right hip back. Start to dip forward and keep your belly lifted. Lifting your arms up off your back. Lift your belly. Big, full breath. Exhale, your hands to the floor. Step into your right foot, lift your left leg all the way up. Lift, lift, lift. And step your left foot beside your right forward fold. Inhale, look halfway up, lift the belly. Exhale, fold forward. Now, I want you to widen your stance just a little bit. And imagine your feet are stuck, but you're drawing them in like you're rolling, not rolling, but they're like you're opening a jar with your toes, your feet, and you're rolling the feet in. Roll your feet in like you're opening a jar with your toes. And you'll feel your inner thighs and your pelvic floor are going to get nice and connected. And there's a widening in your low back. Notice that. Keep that. Now you're going to screw them wide, away from each other, parallel. And notice all that space now that you've kept in here to go back. Find your breath, take your elbows back. The back of your head leads the way, come all the way up, shoulder blades down. Circle your arms all the way up. Grab your left wrist and lift. Exhale to the right. Good. Inhale back to center. Take your right wrist and lift. Exhale to the left. Ugh. Inhale to center. Now we're going to do that pose that I taught on Monday. You're going to take your right hand and grab your left earlobe with your right fingernail, your right thumbnail forward. And you're going to do the same with your left hand to your right. I want you to tug your earlobes down, widen your stance just a little bit, widen your feet. As you exhale, you're going to lower and tug your earlobes down, and then inhale, lift. This pose is used in schools to help kids clear their minds. It's helpful for all of us, for our brains. It's really interesting. Exhale down, tug your earlobes down, and then inhale all the way back up. Let's take two more just like that. Exhale and inhale. Exhale. Oh yeah. And inhale. And release. Inhale, circle your arms all the way up, lift your heart. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look halfway up. Exhale, now step all the way back to plank. Yeah, your knees are either up or down. You know what you need to do. But your belly's definitely lifted and there's no rounded backs, right? Shoulder blades hug together. Lower, I like to lower my knees and my chest for the first one. Make sure your hands are beside your ribs and lift up, belly back, find that space, maybe side to side. Now we're gonna do something kind of funky. Bend your knees, come towards table, and then you're gonna lift your knees up here. So the belly's drawn back and the sit bones are lifted. Now I want you to round your back. Maybe you'll walk your feet a little closer and round your back like a cat. And keep your knees lifted. And now slowly, you're going to lengthen your legs long and draw the low ribs back. And then walk your dog and notice your breath. Really reach your heels toward the floor if you can. Those muscles get very tight and they can be an accident waiting to happen. Good. And then lower your knees back to the floor. Extend your left leg back behind you and your right arm forward. Lift the belly. Exhale, elbow. So this is a balance. Exhale, elbow to knee. And also, you want to go slow. Now, if you want to go a little quicker, you can exhale through your mouth like you did before. But faster is not better. Just saying. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round your back, lift the belly. Exhale the belly back to the spine. And then come all the way back. Taking your right hand to the floor, or to the left. Pivoting your left foot to the mat and opening it up. Press your fingerprints down to lift the right ribs up and find that big expanse in your body, wherever it is. We're looking to expand ourselves, to embrace one another, and to see our own foibles, right? And then lift your left leg up, if it's available. Keep your left arm wherever feels good for your shoulder. And then just gonna dip and lift. Dip and lift. And even though you're firing up your upper left medius here, you're gonna feel it pretty good in the bottom right hip. Exhale. Right ribs are lifted and rolling forward, remember. And then lift your left leg, bend your left knee, and either bind or not, you know what you can do, what works for you. Take your toes back, lift your heart, lift your thigh bone. Big full breath. Oh yeah. And back to the balance. Take your left hand to the floor, extend your left leg directly out to the left. Curl your right toes under, walking your hands back and circle your arms all the way up. You're going to take maybe your left hand down your left leg or reach both arms toward the left. Then inhale back to center and find your way to your right, either with your block or without. One is not better than the other, as long as you're mindful of the breath. Lift up and over something with your ribs. Like I said, like a beach ball. We're going to take one more on each side. So this is, okay, now back to the left. This is the one. And over to the right. Good. And back to center. Now, kick your elbows back. This draws the shoulder blades back. Lift the pelvic floor and tip from the top of your pelvis, reaching your heart forward. Take your hands to the floor. And with your toes, your right toes tipped under, roll your inner thigh bones back and sit all the way back, or as far back as you can. Your arms are wider than your shoulders, and you're lifting your palms so your hands look like spiders. You lift the armpits and soften your chest and your forehead. You're going to get a nice stretch in your back. As a matter of fact, your fingerprints are stuck and you're pulling them back towards you. And you can feel how you're strengthening your upper back, you're stretching your hips, and you're breathing. Yum. Then make your way back to center and step your left foot just outside your left hand, tipping the left thigh bone out to the left. So we're going to just explore that hip first. With your belly lifted, imagine the left outer hip is pulling the left foot back. You're going to get deep into that space. Maybe you'll soften your chest. Maybe you'll soften your elbows. Maybe you'll come onto your forearms. Nothing is important except for what feels like your edge. Big breath here. Good. Now, come back up to center. Take your right hand more toward the left. And you can come onto the tiptoes of your back right foot, lifting your right knee. You can stay right here. Or you can come onto the pinky side edge of your back right foot. Lift the right ribs up, rolling your ribs forward and extend. And find a little pulse here. The more you press, karate chop your feet to the floor, the more the ribs lift, the belly engages. The more present you are without any kind of criticism toward yourself. Just be there. Good. Then take your left hand back to the floor. Come into the lunge, lift and lower your hips. And step your right foot just about a foot forward and wide. Strengthening, lengthening both legs long. Inhale, circle your arms all the way up so you press down to rise up. Exhale, your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, dip forward until you find that edgy space where anything more would be too much. Big breath here. Release your hands to the floor. Good. Lift your right leg all the way up. And step your right foot beside your left, forward fold. Now this time, I want you to soften your knees and come onto your tiptoes. Good. Maybe bend your knees and come onto your tiptoes. And you're going to slide your sit bones up. Your bum lifts, the pelvic floor lifts. You're going to keep your bum as high as it can go. And then you're going to lengthen your legs long from the center of the pelvis down. And then maybe you'll get a little bit deeper in that fold and just see where you go. Big breath. Now circle your arms all the way up. Exhale, palms together to your heart center and release. So you're going to want to have your strap nearby now, because this is where we're going. Bend your knees deep and circle your arms up. Exhale, palms together. Twist to your right. Take your left hip back and open it up. Keep your left knee in line with the right. Inhale, back to center. Exhale to your left. Keep your right hip back. Open it up. Good. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look halfway up. Exhale, step back to plank. And you make your way into your cobra or up dog, whatever feels right for you. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, lift your right leg up behind you, bend your right knee and open your right hip. Extend your right leg all the way back. Come on to the tiptoes of your left foot. Exhale, step your right foot forward. Prepare for warrior one and grab your strap. And then you're going to extend your arms up over your head and you're going to pull the strap apart. So you're in a pretty deep warrior one. Good. So you're going to have to keep your arms pretty wide and pull the strap apart, keeping your arm bones back. Stay deep. Good. Now straighten both your legs, take your right hip back and come deeper. Lift your heart, big full breath. Good. Exhale, warrior two. Good. Big warrior two. Now, stay low. Keep your right thigh bone out to the right. Make sure your right toes are aiming directly out to the right. And then with the strap, you're going to lift your ribs up and over to the left. Pull the strap apart. Inhale back to center. Strapping up and over to the right. Oh yeah, pull the strap apart. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the left. And inhale back to center. Exhale to the right. And inhale back to center. Exhale to the left. And back to center. And to the right. Oh yeah. And back to center. Now, pivot your feet parallel. We'll be there back again. And this time you might have to widen your arms wider because you're going to take the strap behind you. And there's a spot where it says, I don't think so. So you're going to widen your arms and come all the way down. Good. Inhale all the way back up. And now narrow your hands, pull the strap apart, and start to dip forward. Your feet are parallel, all your toes are forward. Your belly's engaged. There's a softness in your knees. Big breath. And now fold all the way down, releasing the strap. Good. Good. Find that space. Fold a little forward. Good. Take your left hand to your right shin. And you're going to pull your right shin in as you keep the right hip reaching back. Walk your right fingerprints forward, pressing the fingerprints down so you have spider hands. Lift the right armpit back and maybe you'll coax the left ribs over to the right. So your back is going to be nice and toned up and strong. Now come back to center and grab your opposite shins with your opposite hands. Pull the shins in and imagine you're trying to open a jar so the toes are rolling to the midline, your feet are rolling to the midline. You'll get a big space in the pelvic floor and a big lift in your core. Good. Now take your left hand to the mat, fingerprints, spider hands. Pull the left shin in and look under your left armpit. Oh yeah, doggy. It should feel nice and deep. I know I got a lot of shaking going on here. Release your hands, walk back to the front of your mat, and then step your left foot forward beside your right, forward fold. Good. Oh yeah. Bend your knees deep. Circle your arms all the way up. Now this time, you're going to come onto your tiptoes of your feet. Let's see if you can see this. Keep your arms up if you can. If you need a wall, feel free to use use it. And now we're gonna just work into our core by just rolling your hips in a circle, staying on your tiptoes if it's available. And then you're gonna change directions. Oh yeah. Take your heels back to the floor and fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, either take a half vinyasa or come all the way to dog, whatever is your pleasure. Inhale your left leg, bend your left knee and open it up. Extend your left leg back, come onto the tiptoes of your right foot, get the whole, everything. Exhale, step your left foot forward, prepare for warrior one, and grab your strap. You're in warrior one. Pull the strap apart. Take your left hip back and lift your heart. This is really present. Good. Exhale, warrior two, making sure your left toes are directly out to the left. Lift up nice and tall, all the way over to the right. Inhale to center, all the way to the left. Pull the strap apart. Inhale to center. So notice how you're using your core. Notice how you're getting deep in the quad, all the way to the left. Inhale to center, all the way to the right. Inhale to center. Last one, to the left, back to center. Pull it apart, stay deep. And this time you're gonna pivot your feet parallel and come right to forward. Pull the strap apart, soften your knees, and release the strap. You're gonna bind your fingers with your first two fingers with your big toes, and you're gonna coach the toes forward as the heels slide back. You should feel it in your fingers, your arms, your inner thighs. Lift the belly up, so keep your heels, your feet sliding back as the toes pull forward. Don't use your thumbs for kickstands. And come deep into that space. Ah, yeah. One more big breath here. Oh, yeah. Then walk your hands back to the front of your mat. Left foot forward, step your right foot beside your left, forward fold. Bend your knees deep, circle your arms all the way up, Utkatasana, last standing series. Take your palms together, twist to your right, keeping your left hip back. Now, if you want to play with that, you can bring your weight into your right foot and step your left foot back and just see where that goes. And then come back. Inhale back to center. Exhale the other way. And either you'll play with it or you won't. And it doesn't matter. And all the way back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look halfway. Exhale, either step back to dog or take a half vinyasa, whatever you choose. Inhale, lift your right leg up behind you. Exhale, step your right foot forward, warrior one, and grab your strap. Good. Just settle into it. Be here now. Notice. Exhale right into warrior two. Yep. Pull the strap apart. Up and over to the left. Inhale to center. Up and over to the right. And back to center. But now, you're gonna bend both your knees. Take your bum back. And you're gonna lengthen both legs long as you dip up and over into a triangle. So you might wanna widen your arms, really pulling the right arm down, the left arm up. And then inhale all the way up. Two more times, exhale. Oh yeah, and inhale. Last time, exhale. Oh yeah, and inhale all the way back. Now you're gonna come back to the front of your mat, lay the strap down, and step all the way back to dog. Now, if you want to take a vinyasa here, that's fine. We've been doing a lot of shoulder work. Otherwise, lift your left leg all the way up, come onto your tiptoes, and step your left foot forward. Preparing for warrior one, grabbing the strap, but be here in this minute so you can notice where you are, how you're feeling. What are you thinking? Pull the strap apart, open your heart to our community, whoever's around you. Exhale, warrior two. Yeah, good. Now bend your knees, take your bum back. And you're gonna lengthen your legs long as you lift from the center of the pelvis out. I like to widen my arms. Inhale back to center. Exhale all the way over to the left. It's a triangle. I have something in my right shoulder, so I'm gonna soften my right elbow, but I'm gonna still pull the strap apart. Inhale. And then exhale into it. And all the way back up. It was great. One more time. Exhale. Nice. And all the way up. And you don't need your strap. Take your hands back to the front of your mat. And step your right foot forward beside your left. Forward fold. Soften your knees. Bend your knees. I like to take my hands outside my knees at this point, hugging the shins in and widening your feet wide. The belly's gonna lift. Then circle your arms all the way up, Utkatasana, and come all the way up to center. Open your heart. Exhale, palms together to your heart center, and release. So we have been preparing for dancer pose all along. Now, I'm gonna give you two options for dancer. You can take your strap, I love this thing, or not. If you have a strap, step onto the strap so it's in the center of your foot, in your arch, your right foot. Good. Then you're going to cross the strap like that. And now we're going to step into this new idea of embracing, looking inside our own stuff, right? So you can step your left foot forward in front of the whole strap. Now, step into your left foot, and you might stand here. Oh, otherwise, you're going to roll your shoulder blades back so your palms are forward. And maybe you'll step into your left foot. You have to look at something that's not moving. And maybe you'll lift your right foot up. Maybe. The more you press your foot back, the more steady you'll be. Now, walls are great here. And maybe you'll come into a king dancer with the shoulder blades back. It's kind of an awesome pose. See if you can breathe. Notice how your body knows how to engage now. Shoulder blades are back. Belly's back. Good. Take another breath here. And release. Awesome. And release the strap. And just make some hip circles. Notice the heat in your body. Yeah. Okay. Now, take the strap under your left foot, and it's going to be different on the left. And you can use the strap or not. It doesn't matter. It's kind of fun, though, if you have it. So your foot, the sole of your left foot is on the strap. Cross the strap. Yeah. Now imagine you're stepping into a new idea. Your intention is just expand yourself and allow people to be who they are. Or as my husband said, everybody's wired differently. It's just so incredible. Okay, so you're going to step into your left foot, and then you're going to step your right foot forward. Here you are. Yeah. Now you can stay here, shoulder blades back, belly's lifted. You can step into your right foot. You can lift your back knee up. Now, the shoulder blades are going back, your palms are coming forward, and then you might need more length on your strap, and just see where you go. You're going to press your foot back And the more you press the foot back, you'll see the band will be tight and you'll get way more connected. But you have to look at something that's not moving. Do not look at the screen. Just listen to the breath. A quiet, equanimous space. With your breath. Good. Move all the way back. And release the stress. Yeah. Good. So make your way into a yoga squat. Like Allison says, there's no time like the present. But you guys did an amazing job. And you also stimulated your brain, so it's very good. Yoga squat. Take your elbows inside your thigh bones, hug the thigh bones, and you can even lift your hips. Every pose is powerful. It's something to offer us. Big breath. And come all the way to seated. Good. Take your hands behind you. Your feet are on the floor. Scoop your heart forward. Find a little back bend here. And then lift your hips. Lift, 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 lift. Good. You might even find a little pulse to draw the belly back on an exhale. When you lift, exhale, inhale, exhale. Good. Take your right knee in toward your chest. Cross your right ankle over your left thigh, lifting your hips. And then slowly roll your inner thigh bones toward the floor. Ah, yeah. This is going to be a nice stretch when you go back. Now, if you want to come a little deeper, you can just reach your chest towards your thigh bones. Just find a nice stretch here. Now we're going to come into fire log pose, guys. If you know your hips are tight or you're not sure, I want you to extend your left leg long and come to seated. This is a beautiful pose. If you think you can or you want to try, you're going to take your left foot over to the right and then come to seated so that your shins are stacked and your right ankle is hanging over your left thigh. Good. However you do it is good. So your bottom leg is either straight or bent. I want you to take your hands to your heels. If your bottom leg is straight, you just take your left hand to your right heel. And you're going to press the heels in, and already you're going to engage the belly and the pelvic floor. Not to mention your biceps and all that too. So the belly's drawn back. And then as you exhale now, you're going to find your way into this deep, deep pose. Close your eyes and see inside. Inhale, come out just a little bit. And then exhale, find a little bit deeper entrance inside to that quiet that's within us. That peace and contentment, it's all in us. But we get kind of messed up with our minds and our thoughts. Good. Come a little deeper maybe as you pulse. And then come all the way up to center. Nice. And shake it out. Bend your knees. Once again, we're going to do the other side. Take your arms back, open your heart, shoulder blades back. I have to kind of roll my elbows back to lift my heart. Press your feet down, lift your hips. Find that little pulse as you lift. Exhale. Exhale. Then you're going to take your left knee towards your chest and cross your left ankle over the right thigh. Lift your hips just a little bit more, even though you know where you're going. And then slowly roll your inner thigh bones to the floor until your sit bones land. And then you're going to walk your hips maybe a little forward, just getting a deep feeling in your hips and those flexors. And breath. Good. And once again now, we're going to come into fire log pose. So either your right leg is going to go straight and you're going to come into fire log, or you're going to take your right foot over to the left And you're going to come into fire log with your shins parallel. And now your left ankle is hanging over your right thigh. Check that out. There's a tendency to have the knees too far apart, and you don't get this hanging over thing. So I want you to take your knees closer together, however you do. Take your palms to your heels. Press the heels in. You're going to feel a contraction in your hip. Belly back. Exhale, and then find your forward fold. And just pulse with your breath. You exhale into it, and you inhale out. Exhale, belly back. Keep your pressure on the heel or the heels so you feel that connection in your hips. Press your thigh bones down, come all the way up. Oh yeah, that was great. And you know what to do. Shake it up. Draw your knees to your chest, round your back. And now come all the way to lying on your back. Draw your right hand toward your chest, which should be no problem now. You can keep your left leg long, or you can bend your left knee. Extend your right leg in front of you, long up to the sky. Take your hands behind your thigh bone, pressing the thigh bone forward. So your leg presses forward, but your arms are going to draw the thigh bone not only towards you, but down toward the floor. And you might get a nice, deep space here, and breathe into it. Lengthening both your legs long. You can actually lengthen your legs. Tip the top of your pelvis forward if it's not already tipped. Back, if it's not already tipped back. Now take your left hand to the top of your left hip. And you can either take your right hand and bind with your big toe of the right foot, or you can take your right hand inside your right thigh bone. Both are options. And you're going to widen your right leg all the way out to the right, wherever it goes. Now, as soon as your left hip lifts, you went too far. So just notice where you go and breathe into it. You can even bend your right knee, and then extend it once again, and maybe you'll get a little bit more there. Now, listen carefully. You're going to coax your toe up, but you're going to reach your heel back. And you're going to get a nice stretch in the hammies here as you do that. Maybe you'll walk your hands up your shin, become a little bit deeper in that space, lifting your chest. Exhale all the way back down to the earth. Nice. I want you to take your hands to your top of your hips. Close your eyes and notice if there's more heat in the right side of your hip, right hip. If your right leg feels longer, if there's a clarity in the right side that you don't feel in your left, just notice. But stay with your breath. Now extend your left leg up to the ceiling, interlacing your fingers behind the left thigh bone. You can bend your right knee or keep your right leg straight. You know what you need to do. See how much you can extend your leg, and you're going to press the leg forward as your arms draw towards you and down toward the floor. The top of the pelvis tips back. You find your breath as you lengthen your legs longer, longer, longer. I used to be 5'2", but I lengthened my legs. Well, it's not exactly true, but you know. I always wanted to be small, of course. Okay. So now either you're going to take your right hand to your right hip. You're going to do that. But you can take your left hand to your left big toe or your left hand inside your left thigh bone. You choose. And then you're going to open your left leg out to the left, but not so much that your right hip would lift. You don't want any lift in the right hip. So just find where it goes, keeping the right shoulder blade back. You can even bend your left knee and then extend your left leg all the way out. And notice what you get there. Lengthen your legs long, big full breath. Then all the way back to center. Maybe you walk your hands up your shin, lift your chest, and then slowly all the way back to here. Widen your feet, bend your knees, widen your feet wide, and then drop your knees right and left, clearing anything out that you didn't already clear out. Like windshield wipers, you can take your arms to T. Drop your knees to the right, lift your right foot, and really weight down your left knee with your right foot. Roll your shoulder girdle to your left. Look to your left if it's available to you, if it's right for you. Get a nice stretch here. Huge breath. And all the way back to center. Widen your feet. Drop your knees to your left. Lift your left foot. And reach the left foot on top of the right knee. Good. Roll the shoulder girdle to the right. Good. Take a few big breaths here. And then come all the way back to center. Take your arms to the side. You walk your shoulder blades together. Lift your hips and just roll your bum forward and lower to the mat. And then widen your legs as wide as your mat. We're going to take a few minutes Shavasana here. I'm going to just time it. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. And take rest. Just going to take 2 minutes here before we get ready for meditation. Take rest. Start rolling your wrists and your ankles. Inhale, extend your arms up over your head. Exhale through your mouth. Draw your knees to your chest and roll to your right side. Just be there for a moment, no rushing. And then make your way to a seat on your mat and bring your palms together to your heart center, sealing in this practice. The light in me honors that light in you. Namaste. Thank you for being here. So those who want to stay and meditate with me, I'm going to turn off the recording and we're going to prepare ourselves for meditation.